This is what we are going to review today uh, about convergence. Have you heard about this concept, convergence? What is convergence? Convergence means integration of two, three disparate disciplines is called convergence. When you integrate two, three disparate disciplines, or you might say computing, then communication, which are integrated, it will be convergence. So here we will be discussing about the newsroom convergence. What is that newsroom convergence is interesting because we actually come across different types of convergence. So convergence, the word you itself see that it is related to culture. So it has got that cultural connotations. Okay, so we talk about two, three different cultures which are also converged and mix a multicultural component. Okay, so at the economy we can talk about reduction of trade barrier and currency convertibility. That is because of the convergence. Globalization and privatization and deregulation has already, all these have already made the convergence culture very compatible. So we are talking about cultural convergence, we are talking about economic convergence, we are talking about media convergence. So when we talk about media convergence, we cannot even um, think but to discuss about digitalization. Okay, so here when we talk about the digitalization or impact of digital technologies in the convergence, we see how the content creation technologies and content distribution technologies are integrated and merged. So we have two set of technologies. One technology is used for creating content, and another set of technologies are there for distribution or consumption. So when the content creation technologies are integrated to content distribution technologies, it will create media convergence. Now you also see that there are different types of convergence as we get to see. We also have the ownership convergence. Ownership convergence when we talk about the cross media ownership. On cross media ownership, here we also get to see tactical convergence. Cross media ownership is equivalent to tactical convergence. So we have types of convergence, and these convergence, these different types of convergence. So when we discuss, have not a very distinct distinct differences, but we see that tactical convergence is also equivalent to convergence of storytelling. Then we see ownership convergence is also equivalent to organizational convergence. Right. So when we talk about different types of convergence, we have first the convergence of ownership, then organizational convergence, tactical convergence, then you see the this is called organic convergence. Organic convergence is basically the impact of convergence on our day-to-day behavior. Okay, so impact of convergence, the way we behave and dispose one technology, we also react to the uses of one technology. Is what is the organic convergence. So when we talk about the ownership convergence, we actually see there are examples of American Online uh, mergers with Time Warner, right? So that is a kind of ownership convergence. So earlier, what happened that we see that Robert Murdoch owned this. It is actually known for that newspapers chain, but it is also um, own the Columbia Tester and acquired a base in the USA. So that is an example of, you see, ownership convergence. So it has happened because of the globalization. It has also happened because of deregulation. We get to see the distinctiveness of one business has been gone, and interest of the media conglomerates has been deepened and more depend, and we actually see that their expansion into the media business has become more acute and depend. So At the same time, we could also see that we have the Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers have merged with this, like, timing. Timing is basically known for its publishing wing. So it has a publishing business, but it is merged with the Warner Brothers, that is basically a TV network chain. So it has also have a stake in this TV network. So like that way, you can see that ownership convergence has created media conglomerate across the world, and one chain has increased their business. And how digitalization has actually facilitated the whole process is by the ubiquity of mobile network, like we have that Wi-Fi, right? We have ubiquitous that technologies in terms of extensible markup language, like we always have a better visibility to the web pages nowadays. So you talk about the extensible markup language, which have actually given their content appear online, right? So that is also another kind of, like, convergence. We talk about digital convergence. Digital convergence, it is also more about creating a value chain among different partners, different component of the media and communication, and how that it can be possible, and that can be possible through the use of digital technologies, even increase of bandwidth, Wi-Fi technologies, portable network technologies. We talk about voice over IP. So we see that gradually evolution of technology has also lead us to that convergence culture. So we talk about media convergence. So each and every media house has a website. That is also a kind of convergence, and it has helped us to lead to, you see, this is called the tactical convergence. Tactical convergence, when we see that a television news organization uh, is supplementing to its print publication. So we have two different, wing of the same organization. It is running a television channel, and the same organization also have a newspaper chain. So the investigative reporter of the television news channel is also contributing to the print outlet. So is an example of tactical convergence. So you are also investigating a story for even print newspaper. The same reporter is appearing in the television news channel to present the content of the story. So it's a kind of tactical convergence. And there is also ownership, along with the ownership convergence, this tactical convergence is possible. Now, then we talk about the organizational convergence. When you talk about the organizational convergence, we have, you see, different kind of ownership. We have, you see, government ownership, government when own, when finance, when subsidize and control one business, media business, will lead to, you see, government ownership of the business. Accordingly, when government by legislation also bestowed upon power to the private organization to run, control, and you see, subsidize a media business, will lead to private ownership, right? And there are also mixed ownership pattern. The government and private both have a stake on owning a business. Okay, like that way, there is a ownership convergence. Even two, three private owners have been merged, and they have given birth to, you see, this technical convergence at the same time. Not technical, tactical convergence. Okay, then what we actually see is that it is also important for you is organizational convergence. Like that way, when there is an ownership convergence and technical convergence, the whole organizational structure will also converge. Suppose organization initially we have a very flat kind of structures, tall structures maybe. Flat and tall are two different structure. In a flat structure, it's a horizontal structure where there is a strict line of supervision which is there. And we see more and more. when is being developed, the organizational structure will also be varied. It will become flat. Okay, suppose earlier an organization known for having base in television network. Now it has also own newspaper. It has own another digital outlet. So its span has been expanded, and also for organizational that is smooth organizational conduct. What it could do, it could make the organization flat. Flat in the sense there will be more concentration the on more emphasis and more concentration on the needs of those employees which are serving that organization for specific you see product or programming. Okay, instead of you see simply giving them dictation that okay, or order to carry out certain work. So that's how we can see that ownership convergence has also lead to this organizational convergence. So classical organization, earlier we have classical organizations, and we also have a bureaucratic organization. These are equivalent to bureaucratic organization. So where what we can have, we can actually see some procedure. Now, more and more, the organization is digitized. It is focusing on networking. So, networking with different other variety of organizations. When there is a networking, so they will be focusing on outsourcing of the business. So, you actually see that it has led to convergence of organization at the same time. So classical organization is also merging with networking organization when they will be outsourcing their business and all. That has led to convergence in the storytelling. Convergence in the storytelling, it is also use of multimedia platform to tell your stories. So when you write a story, you will simultaneously also making a video about that story, and you will also develop a photo story. You can also develop an interface, online interface of that story, and make it multimedia friendly. So you will not simply write the content of the story. So this is called convergence of storytelling, which is possible because of the digitalization of data. Okay, and digital technology has extended the connectivity. Right, we all know it has extended the connectivity. At the same time, digital convergence focuses upon the interoperability and standardization, which is very essence of convergence, which actually forms the essence of convergence. Okay, it is about interoperability and standardization. As you see, there will be varied platform. So it is very important aspect of convergence to make content also appear in different platform simultaneously, and make it being accessible to users simultaneously. So it's very important. Okay, interoperability and standardization. Then power management is also one issues related to digital convergence. So when you talk about the power management, now more and more technologies are being converged. You can also see that technology become uh, smaller or come into a miniature form. So to deal with that miniature form of technology, earlier we have like bigger that desktop. Then we actually see a smaller size of screen, and monitor size has been like much smaller. Now we have tablet. So mobile phone is also a kind of smaller variety. So miniature variety. To deal with that miniature variety of technology, we actually need to work on the fuel cells and power management. So convergence has focused upon the interoperability of the platform, standardization of platform, and power management of the devices. Okay. So this is a part of digitalization of the content at the same time, or digitalization of the content and digital convergence. Okay, and then we see when you talk about the convergence of storytelling. So at one point we need to consider that content creation technologies cannot be converged Um, and we cannot even achieve the convergence of all the content creation technologies. So it is very difficult to converge all the content creation technologies. Suppose you have Quark Express for writing a newspaper, right? But once you design the layout in the Quark Express, that cannot be imported or even exported, not imported, exported to a visit web page, right? But when in the Dreamweaver model, when you develop a web page, that could be exported to even news paper. So we have some technologies uh, which are used for creation of the content, for creating a story. But at the same time, that cannot be converged into another technology, that cannot be compatible with another technology to a different platform to give us the similar content. Okay, so convergence of content creation technologies cannot be, have not been conceived and realized. So, but to certain extent we get to see some of the convergence of aspect are there. We could also see now you have that PDF which is converted to Word, Word is converted to JPEG. So you can easily convert through converting tools. No, you can convert. That is also a kind of convert. You see that convergence, media convergence or technology convergence. You say the digital convergence. So when you also have this digital TV, which is a recording facility, and which is also available through the voice over IP protocol, is a kind of converged technology. You see, this is also a kind of digital convergence or media convergence. So media convergence encompasses all these forms of convergence: digital convergence, ownership convergence, tactical convergence, convergence in storytelling, and organic convergence, at last the organic convergence. Okay, suppose you also have some other kind of technical convergence. Suppose in a microwave, you can have a display of TV, okay, miniature TV, which is also attached and embedded with your microwave. So at the same time, you can heat and you can cook something in the wave, and you can also watch the TV. So that is also, you see, integration of two, three technologies will be a kind of convergence. So here we are talking about information and communication technologies and two, three disparate technologies if integrated. And we get to see there is also a crossover role. We have the result of convergence, okay, technological convergence. Okay, and technological convergence is possible because of digitalization of content, because of digitalization of content, because of voice over IP protocol, VoIP, because of Wi-Fi, because of mobile network, because of increased bandwidth. We are now talking about streaming service. So 10 years back, we did not think about streaming because of, you see, lower bandwidth. It will always loading. Now we could stream a session, think of streaming a session, but still there is network problem in this very belt. We cannot even see that we have achieved the highest point of convergence, because still there are issues related to network. So at times it will hamper the streaming. Okay, but streaming is also one form of convergence, you see. Now you see convergence of the content creation technology and distribution technology. It is actually convergence of consumption technology, mobile phone. So where you can actually create the content, at the same time you can also consume the content, right? So, but those softwares which we talk about, different applications are there. Some applications will provide you to create the content, which is made the need of one specific user and also one specific customers. Okay, suppose Canva, you can design through Canva, you can design banner, poster, certificate, so many things you can design. No, but Canva cannot be a Word. It cannot work like Microsoft Word. So in that case, we cannot think about converging Canva with Microsoft Word, but definitely you can design something in Canva, and that could also be imported to Microsoft Word. That is convergence. Okay, so two or three content creation technologies cannot be converged, and that is a lesser end of convergence that is yet to be realized. But in terms of convergence of creation and consumption technologies, yeah, we have realized it. Okay, so complementary distributing technologies are also complementing the content creation technologies. Okay, now you see convergence of storytelling, as I have already told you. This is also important at the same time when you talk about multimedia storytelling, it is all about convergence of storytelling. And website, you get all the multimedia content, like in the form of button, in the form of like that webcast, narrated webcast are also form of convergence. Hmm. Then organic convergence is very, very important. When you talk about organic convergence, this is something about your being. So, because of this technological convergence, because of the heightened tactical convergence, you tend to behave differently. You also prone to multitasking. So why we go for multitasking? We talk about multitasking nowadays, but there are also another side of the story, another side of the picture when scholars usually admit that multitasking actually lessen the efficiency. It is also another picture of the story. So you see, when you talk about the multitasking, it is a kind of organic convergence. You are mailing, write a mail to a person. You are also listening to a music. At the same time, you are chatting with your friend. So this is a kind of multitasking convergence, which is under organic convergence, and this is something which is derived from the very nature of the technology convergence because all the technologies are converged. Earlier, we did not have to mail or even put up a message in that way. When our parents usually tell us that go and inform this person, we go run inform that person, or there are letters. Now you see there is an email, so quickly they will order a WhatsApp. So okay, you can also talk to me quickly. You can confirm him about the event. So you are talking to him. You are also like putting up a message. You can write a message and you can send that message to the person. So that is something that organic convergence is also a culture which is imposed upon us, and we are into that organic convergence nowadays. And we can't get rid of that organic convergence in multitasking. So it is quite relatable to us, and it is because of the it is also kind of see because of globalization, because of movement of people, movement of culture, movement of like economy and trade related barriers have been abandoned, because of which we get to see that organic convergence becomes the norm. Yeah. So that is one thing, and then here what is important is the paywall. Along with convergence, this is also a new consequence we get to see. Earlier, we did not have that paywall. What is that paywall? Paywall is basically a mechanism to restrict the excess of content. Okay, that paywall system is there. From 1996, this system, paywall system was in place. But nowadays, as there are many contents available across different channels and different platforms, we are emphasizing more on paywall and free access to content. And we see that if you read journal, you won't get to access the journal content freely. You actually need a subscription. This is also one method of you see advertising. So yeah, not that is revenue generation. Sorry, like advertising, it is also one method of revenue generation. So paywall is also related to how it is related to convergence, because here we are talking about digital content. Basically, when you see the print newspaper has also a digital outlet, and also television channel has a digital outlet, they will definitely try to look for revenue and also popularity about that channel and a greater visibility of that channel, and that's why they have created that digital outlet, right? That's why they have created it. Now this is also a technique to restrict the access to content and to increase their niche audience or niche, or you say targeted audience or targeted um, you see customer. Okay, so when you talk about increasing the traffic of the niche audience, increasing the traffic of the targeted customers, we get to see the importance of paywall. Now you see, there are hard paywall and there are soft paywall. So hard paywall was initiated by New York Times in 1996 when they restrict the access of the newspaper content entirely. So user without subscription cannot access the content. So then they cannot access any content. Then hard pay wall initiative was basically to generate the revenue and for financial sustainability. It was important for one business. Now you see that this initiative was abandoned by other newspapers because at the same time it involved some ethical concern. It hampered the free access to the content. It hinders the free access to the content, and hence those newspaper who were um actually looking for abandoning the hard paywall, they initiated soft paywall. Okay, soft paywall is about making some of the content available for a specific period of time, and then charge the reader for, you see, for extended amount of time or for more content. So these hard and soft paywall are two different types of paywalls. Apart from that, that is a metered paywall. Soft paywall is about making some content available. And some content, in a sense, you see, maybe the front page of the story could make available, or maybe the headline will make available. Headlines, or the headlines of the stories, or you see the summaries of the stories will be made available for the user. And if user want to get more of the content, then um, they can they can subscribe. And metered paywall means, you see, that is also another soft variety. For a specific amount of time, the content will be available for 10 days. Suppose 7-day trial is there. 7-day trial of any software, 7-day trial of antivirus, 7-day trial of, you see, that uh, any online software that you have installed, suppose a PDF converter or PDF writer you have used. Reader is available, but PDF writer is not available beyond 7 days. So that is basically subscription based software as well as subscription based content. That has resulted that has resulted due to convergence. Okay, so metered content, that a content is available for a specific period of time, and if the user want to access that content beyond that period, they need to subscribe. And software one is different. Software is making content available not for a specific and maybe for a specific period of time, or some content are making visible, but for extended content, extended amount of content and more amount of content for extended period of time, you have to access, or sorry, you have to subscribe. Okay, it is like that. Then um, you see that there are certain models which are always there, like being embraced by newspaper. Before discussing about those model, you should also learn about some of the revenue strategies, which is usually being deployed by a newsroom. So advertising is one revenue strategies, and we have discussed about some of the advertising, right? So direct marketing, direct mailing to customers, and this even you see the users is also one advertising strategies. Traditional advertising here, in the form of traditional advertising, online advertisings are basically um, prioritizing this banner, button, etc. So online traditional advertising are banner advertising, but we talk about even television and radio advertising, those are not connected to online advertising. When we say online traditional advertising, basically these are banner advertising. And even some of the television advertising, which are also available in one frame, sometimes in that website, that will be a kind of traditional advertising. Okay, so there are different types of advertising through which we can generate the revenue, and even through selling the space and the time, and this is called a time brokerage. Time brokerage is there, or time broker or brokerage. It is through which what we can do, we can sell a block of time to one organization or a company who is like to work on that programming. Hmm. And through which we can also earn the revenue. Suppose it is very difficult for me as a owner of a radio station to give some time to advertisers to 1 2 hours programming slot in the news in a radio. In that case, what I'll do, I will sell the whole block of 2 hours to that company and the programmer, and they will decide what kind of program will fit into. Accordingly, they will also broadcast their advertising. So we will also be benefited by this advertising, get some earn some penny by selling that space to that advertisers, like that way. So we can also earn some money. Mm, and cooperative form of advertisings are also there, through which we can earn some penny. Uh, so, um, Regarding the subscription model, which I have told you, this is also another way to earn the revenue. We have some old subscription model. Now, these models were not entirely replaced, but to certain extent, this variety of model are implemented by different newspapers. If you go try to read a Hindu newspaper and Frontline, you won't get access to the content. Okay, the Hindu and online newspaper is following Business 2.0 model. So there are certain models and a framework based on which these newspapers, online newspaper, are trying to restrict the access to the content. Okay, and those models are like you have Olgo Query model, which is still relevant, but in Wikipedia you won't get to find that model. Like you in Wikipedia you will find about New York model, but Olgo Query model is basically a New York model. Okay, New York Journal was there. New York Journal first started this model, and we also have a Borrell Premium model. New York Journal when first started, New York that New York Journal, no, New York Times in 1996 first started this paywall, or this is a subscription model. So making content restricted for users. Okay, so they use a model that is called Borel Premium and Albuquerque. So you say a combination of these two models they have used huh, to making the content available. According to Albuquerque, some of the news features, like you see the feature stories, opinion stories, and archival content, sports stories, uh, are not accessible to all. But you see this advertising, classified advertising, personal advertising, obituary, etc., or maybe some of the hard news will be accessible for all, according to Orbiquid model. So Albuquerque model, I'll write down the name of the model. Albuquerque model is focusing upon the premium content. So premium content will not be available to the to all the readers, online readers. Okay, and here in Borel Premium is also working in the same line. So making some premium content accessible only to the subscriber of that e-paper. But difference between Albuquerque and Borel Premium is that Albuquerque will leverage and will be favorable to those print subscriber, but here in Borel Premium, this is entirely online subscription based model. So suppose a newspaper, a print newspaper has a digital version. So one household has been subscribing the newspaper print version for long, so it will be made accessible to the digital content equivalent rate. Okay, but one household is not accessing the print content. Suppose newspaper is um, that he is not taking, then he or she has to pay, and they have to pay for that paper. Okay, so this is for all book priority model. And for borrowing premium, that is a separate model. So making the premium content available to the users and to the online users. Then we also have a Winnipeg model. In Winnipeg model, you get to see um, the front page stories. Okay, front page stories, and the first page of the stories. Suppose in newspaper, some front page stories are there, full story that is available online, and also some of the stories where only the front page stories are available. If you want to access more, then you need to subscribe. So this is according to Winnipeg model. So I'll write. So you actually see these are the paywall models. Okay. So you actually see, okay. So these are some of the paywall models. So as you see, the Albuquerque and Boral Premium are similar. Hmm. These models are executed by the newspaper to restrict the content access. Okay, and Albuquerque, and then we also have Boreal Premium, then Winnipeg. Winnipeg model will make only the front page of the stories available and making users uh, pay or subscribe for the rest of the content. Winnipeg model. And then we have seen the Business 2.0. Business 2.0 will make only the headline and summaries available, but to access the full story, you need to subscribe. So Business 2.0 will not make the front page of the stories available. Okay. But also at the same time, you can access some archival content in the Business 2.0. You may not need to subscribe. Okay. So there are varieties of content. So how you make few content available and restrict the content depends upon the model which is being implemented or executed by the news room or news organization. Okay, so you actually see Times of India. This is Indian model. So if you go and try to access the Times of India newspaper, you won't get to find any kind of restrictions. You can read the content because they do have a different kind of policy that they will make the content available for the people in the circulation area. So Times of India model said that our content, our e-content will be available for the people in the circulation area, but people from abroad are supposed to pay for it if they want to access e-content. But their model is also not of like print variety or e variety, unlike the Albuquerque, that print subscriber can get a free edition of online content. It's not like that. Even if you won't subscribe to the print newspaper, you can access to the e-paper according to Times of India model. But for people like sitting abroad are supposed to pay for the content. Okay. Business 2.0 will make only the summaries available and headlines available. Summary means 2-3 line of the stories will be available, which will be introducing the story, and headlines will be available. So this is basically Business 2.0, but they might also make some of the archival content free of cost. But you see, in Boreal Premium model, you won't get any kind of archival content. Suppose you want 7 months newspaper for research purpose, you need to pay for it. Need to pay 5,000, and then you can access the archival content. Okay, so any kind of archival content, and you see that some pictures, some photographs, so you need to pay for it. For any premium content. Although where you suppose sports stories are always distinguishing stories. Okay, so hence you are supposed to access the sports stories by paying. But some of the stories will be made available to you, not all, but for a specific time period it will be available to you. So these content are of hard wall, soft wall, and metered wall variety. So we have got this three type of paywall: hard wall, soft wall, and metered wall. Metered wall means for a specific time period it is available. Okay. Soft wall, some content will be available. Hard wall, no content will be available without subscription. Okay. So this is important, and paywall has also created some ethical concern. Just because content are supposed to be free, but we are paying for the content because network is not a property of own, property of any business. So network in the network across the network, whatever content is distributed is supposed to be free. But you see that some conglomerate and also business has already, some businesses have made the network favored zone and disadvantaged zone, making content available for those who can pay and also making content inaccessible for those who cannot pay. Okay, and hence we can actually see that it has raised one has raised some ethical content. Sorry, concern. Anything else? Any queries you might have? Any question? No? No? All of you have submitted the article? Huh? You have submitted the interactivity article? All of you have submitted? Okay. And the previous articles have you submitted? Because on that basis, I blog can be submitted after the exam also. You keep on writing and keep on updating your blog. So it depends upon your pursuit. Okay. Until 5 blocks. You can submit. Suppose you say blog, it basically this is for your interest. So okay, you if you write a blog, if you keep a blog, so you can also tell people even to read the story. So for an expert is coming, you simply say that I love writing stories. You can read my blog. You take. Okay, so this is for your interest. Hence, I'm not making it is mandatory, but I'm not taking that assignment right now because after this course also you can keep on writing on the you can update the blog. Okay, so minimum 4 or 5 I'm expecting at least because you have also a paper called journalism. You might have written some stories. You can upload those stories. Apart from that, you have some group project which you have made that could be uploaded. So for online, you can have small MP3 file, and if you have video, you can have MP4 file, compressed one. You cannot put a .waf file. WAV file cannot be uploaded. WAV file is very large resolution wise. So make it a compressed version. So MP4 file or MP3 file for audio, MP3 file for podcast. So which we usually upload. So that you can do. And for video, small compressed MP4 file. Content quality will not matter, but yeah, in a small frame we can actually get to see the content. But definitely there might be a resolution problem when it is displayed in the large like the screen. But blog will not provide you that much of streaming space. So that also, if you are not making a video, and, like blog or video blog platform is different. So this blogspot.com is providing you a multimedia platform where you can put photograph, even this video. You can also embed a small video, but don't make it that long. Okay. And even if you make it a long video, you can upload that long video, but the format has to be compressed. So you made a radio drama, you can upload it. If you have made a skit, you can upload it. Okay. So you give the credit. Hmm. And also write the occasion. The 5 Ws and 1 H has to be there. Okay. You keep on updating the content in the blog. Okay. And you can forward me the link so that I can go through the content once. Whatever is being written could also be accessible for me, and I could also suggest you. Hmm. Because in the second year, you are also supposed to have a portfolio presentation. Okay. For portfolio, you start making portfolios from now onwards. It is important for you, and it's always better to. So I will simply.